Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, senior aides, senior media aides to Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, colleagues from Nigerian Railway Corporation, senior media personalities, ladies and gentlemen. We all will remember the sad incident that happened on the 26th of August. At about 9:45 a.m., the train took off. Shortly after, two other trains had passed through the same point. A train took off at Idu on his way to Regasa in Kaduna. At about 11:09, the train, we got a telegram. We call it telegram. That's the way we receive information along the track, that we had a derailment at kilometer 49, close to, just with a eye view to our station at Asham. That Asham station is not, for now, an operating station where train stops. The next stop will have been Regasa. But Asham, the Asham is the station before Jere, and we all know what Jere is along that corridor. The information came from Mr. Ibrahim Mudibu, the AKTS manager. AKTS means Abuja Kaduna Train Service Manager. That's the man who manages the services. Immediately, our emergency rescue and recovery system picked up. And what that says is that the manager must start contacting and mobilizing all emergency team. And among the people the manager will contact is the managing director, who will, in this case, stand in as the incident commander. The managing director was at that time at the headquarters in Lagos, and he immediately got the brief, that's myself, and I sent message to the Honorable Minister for Transportation. Thereafter, I made contact with the Honorable Minister for Education, who I know could help me locate the principal officers in the Ministry of Health, because he was a former Minister of State there. While we were on the phone, the contacts were immediately made, and the permanent secretary also immediately contacted the nearby hospitals to allow them that they should get ready to receive patients. As at that time, the information we had was that there are about 10 people with different degrees of injury. We also contacted the Federal Capital Territory Administration via the Secretary of Transport, who we requested should help us contact the system. And within minutes, he also got back that their hospitals have been alerted, even though the incidence is closer to Kaduna than Abuja. We also contacted the governor of Kaduna and some of our colleagues in Kaduna in the transport sector. The Honorable Minister also spoke with the governor directly. And the Kaduna state government mobilized the security outfit and also mobilized the hospitals around the area. That was what happened between the hours of 11:10 to the next 1 hour. NEMA immediately got the information through the emergency system, and NEMA also mobilized people. The issue of mobility is just that the major access to that place will have been through the train track, which is already been blocked. So all these people we mentioned got to the site using the road through Buhari and Kubwa. After making the contacts and mobilizing first responders to site, the security outfits that were actually on ground in Asham and along the Kaduna route also mobilized to site. And they were the first people to arrive at the scene. And they are the one who started the evacuation using military ambulances and ambulances provided by a local primary health care center there and that of NEMA. The Nigerian Air Force also immediately provided area cover for the operation to remove any doubt of security or otherwise. The NRC on its own triggered its passenger evacuation process beyond that of the general protocol, and we directed that a train with full complements, just as the one that had the accident, should be mobilized from Idu. So we took a train with another 8 rigs. The one that has the accident had 10 rigs. I will explain that later. A train that has 8 rigs moved and moved to the site to evacuate people that will have been evacuated. At this point, ambulances from the Federal Ministry of Health had already positioned themselves at Idu and Kubwa if the train arrives. When the train took off, the train picked additional first responders, mainly from the Ministry of Transportation, and additional engineers from the NRC based at Idu and Kubwa. Within the first 2 hours, all 618 passengers were evacuated out of the derailed and capsized train. I will explain that in the course of discussion. And we reported 7 people who have serious injury. But as at yesterday, we discovered the number is actually more than 7 that were injured. So it was only 7 that were serious. So that was the way the medical people reported it. But to us, injury is injury. So, the report we had earlier says 7 people were injured. Actually, they were close to 20, and there are different degrees of injury. Some people felt the injury is not serious enough, they should not count them as serious. Because once you are regarded as serious, you have to go into the ambulance. So immediately too, the NSIB, Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, newly created or newly established, that has the responsibility for investigation of transport sector related accidents, which is a new of its kind in Nigeria, also stepped in. And they sent 4 investigators to site, well kitted. You will recall that about a month ago, we had a stakeholder engagement on the first responders in the transport sector, and that was where we all pledged allegiance to make sure that we fall in line with global practices of crash site investigation. The security, that is the military, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Civil Defense Safety Corps, and our own in-house police, that is Nigerian Railway Police Command, stood firm on ground and on the air and ensured that the area was properly protected. And at this point, we need to commend the role the security agencies play. We have not heard incidents of harassment of any of the neighborhood or the people who came to support the rescue. We also had support from the vigilantes who are all along that corridor and members of the Asham communities who also provided assistance for those who want to leave the scene. Of the 618 passengers, 618 people on board, 583 were passengers, 15 were NRC crew members. One medical person on each of our train. At any time, there is always a medical person on ground, and which we also acquired through a third-party arrangement. And all passengers on our train are entitled to medical service while on the train. 8 cleaners were on the train, 11 catering staff were also on board the train, making the total of 618. That was day one. That very day one, we were able to recover the locomotive that was moving from behind, while the 8 other coaches and the locomotive that was driving in front were left on site because we were advised to leave site before 6 p.m., which is the normal practice on that corridor. We immediately secured the manifest from our ticketing company to corroborate with the information we are getting on ground, and they all speak to the same thing. We also directed the funds should be made immediately. That has been difficult for now because they suspected some people are trying to catch on by calling people that they have a refund. They should send their phone numbers. So if that did not happen, it is because we said they should stop it. So that when things are down, we will do the contacting. And as of today, our customer service relations department, which was newly created at the Nigerian Railway Corporation, has started contacting people on the manifest. We have also sent messages to them through the phone number they drop. Preliminary assessment. The NSIB spent 2 days to do their investigation, and while they were doing the investigation, we could not conduct any rescue that is serious because it will affect the scene of an accident. So at afternoon of the second day, they signaled through an exit meeting with us that we can go ahead, and they have collected all the measurements and data they needed. However, they will require some of our personnel for further discussion. Because of the traumatic nature of the accident, they feel it is better to allow the drivers and some other people to have some time to fully get back to normal. Nature of the accident. A total of 7 coaches and 1 locomotive were involved in the accident. I told you it is a rake of 10. So only out of these 10, only 8 were actually with accident impact, while 2 were not seriously affected. That's the local at the back and the business class closer to them. In fact, the people in the business class said they just heard that bam, and the train stopped. They never felt any impact, only to open up their doors and see evacuate, and discover that it was an accident, a very, very serious one. The accident caused damage to our rolling stock and the track materials. Normally, if it was ordinary derailment, there would not be damage to the track material. The wheels of the train would just shift, and the train will be intact. But this one came with a capsizing. So while some shifted, the train, some of the coaches capsized. They fell on their side or off the track. And during the process of that situation, they dragged forward because they were on speed already, and they scattered the surface of the track, went to the other track that was meant for exchange of train, because it was at a junction, and destroyed that too, partially. But the one that was majorly destroyed was the one on which the train was moving. And beyond where the locomotive stopped, the track remains intact. This incident happened at where you call a point. A point on the track is where train changes lane, and they are usually prone to incidences, not, I won't say accident, incidences, if there is no adequate caution when you approach a point. A train could be coming on the other side, and where they even use electronic system, if it fails, that's where you have train collision. It always happens at a point. Or if you get to a point and the thing is not properly opened and you move, your wheel could hang. And so all the drivers have understanding of what to do at points. The typical thing is that you slow down, regardless of what is going on, then you take off. When you take train abroad, you see when they get to some bends, you just see the train go slow. Or when the train gets to certain place, you see them go slow, then they take off. Those are the points where you have the interchanges. It can either be controlled electronically, where you have 24 hours power supply, or it can be done manually, which is the major situation in Nigeria. So we had damages to our track. We have details of how many equipment were destroyed. Security arrangement. We want to say here that beyond doubt, the military, the security outfit proved that they are actually on ground. The ones on ground, the ones that were mobilized, including the GOC, 1st Mechanized Division will move to site. The Commandant of Civil NSD CDC, Civil Defense, was on ground, and representative of the Inspector General of Police and Lagos, Nigerian Railway Police Command were also on ground. So also were vigilantes from the community. Now, mobilization and deployment of men and materials equipment for site clearance. We had to wait till the next day for NSIB to complete their site information gathering. As soon as they cleared us, we moved an additional coach off the track. We did what they call derailing. So we've used manual jack to jack the train back onto the track, and then we move. And upon finishing that and our inspection, we discovered that we will only be able to do for 2 more coaches, because after those 2 coaches, the ones ahead have dragged and damaged the track. So what that means is that when we resume, we have completed that as of today. We have derailed the 2 of them now to move them out. So the civil engineers will now move to site to reconstruct the track. So when they reconstruct the track, our crane will now be able to move on the track to get to the site of the next capsided DMU or whatever, raise it up. And alternative is to move through the neighborhood. That is a tough call for now, because the train track is like on the lower level. They dug the ground to put the train. So the higher level, which is the normal level, you then have a high tension cable. But engineers are working on whether there will be a reconstruction of another road. The Army engineers are also working with us, but they know what to do. So like I said, we also immediately went on air at about 1 p.m. After we have concluded our contacting, we went to the media to confirm that the incident did happen, because it was already being flashed and media people were calling. When they call, we tell them it is true, but we are not making any release now. We need to make sure that the area is under full security cover. We confirmed it happened, and we issued another one to give an update on the same day at about 7 p.m. And at 9 p.m., we spoke to some media via phone, and at 10 p.m., we also appeared on another network media that was available. The next morning, we were at another national TV station, and that same day, we were at another one in the evening. All this while, up to today, we have issued 4 press statements, and we have also went to sites with some journalists, notably channels, TVC, NTA, AIT came later. Trust TV was about the first to show up. So a lot of media houses were on site, and the security protocol wouldn't have permitted the circumstance, but we want to thank the media for their prompt response to the site and their well-behaved attitude, because so far we have not seen any picture or things that the military or the security people, although we know the nature of that corridor. Possible sabotage, vandalization, or security breach. I'm going to read this one, so I don't want to speak of it. Though nationwide, the national rail network system, especially the narrow gauge, that's the one that runs from Lagos to Kano, to Kaura, Namoda, and to Nguru, via Kano, and the one that runs from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, and then from Jos to Kafanchan, and all the source. Though the national network, especially the narrow gauge, is grappling with huge cases of vandalization, from intentional theft by scrap speculators and syndicate. It is a big syndicate that is after the tracks for money. And they go as far as stealing boats, cliffs, rail, and some of these syndicates also extend internationally, because mistakenly sometimes they approach us that we should do business now. But we tell them our rail tracks, our rail materials and critical national assets. You're welcome, sir. He already has many of these briefs. So I will just go ahead and then summarize. Yeah, though nationwide, the national rail network system, especially the narrow gauge, is grappling with huge cases of vandalization from intentional theft by scrap speculators and syndicate. The AKTS is not one of the prone areas due to heavy security presence and usage. This is not to say that we don't have track vandalism on that corridor. In fact, the Asham to Jere part of that track is the most vandalized along that corridor. That is also very close to this particular. So we are not leaving anything out of suspicion. Even though the NRC is not an investigative agency, but with reference to this incident, the operation of the AKTS line, we do not suspect any of such, as the accident track shows no sign of neither sabotage nor track integrity at this point. So that will be the subject of further investigation by investigating committees and investigating agencies that are looking at it. We are not an investigating agency, but when we have an incident, we must, that is until recently, but we must conduct our own in-house investigation to know what to do next. And whatever we find out, we will submit to any panel of investigation that are set up. However, we wish to report that Local 2701, that's just a number, and some coaches traverse the point, which I mentioned earlier. There are two lines there. Only one line is for movement. The other one is just to change. And it doesn't go down. The Abuja-Kaduna line is single lane at most points. Prior to the wheel drop of one of the other coaches, as a result of a gapping point, that's another technical, there is a gapping point where you move between the switch rail and the tongue rail at the south end of Asham Station, resulting in the forced displacement of the point clip that was used to secure the line after setting it on line 1. So that line was permanently set at line 1. So there wouldn't be issue of somebody did not do his job to switch. It was formally sent at line 1, thereby forcing the remaining coaches to change their route to line 2. In conclusion, all the 618 passengers on board the train were evacuated safely, except for the 7 that were taken to the hospital, but are now all discharged and recovering. There was no fatality. We are aware of a media house that reported one fatality. We don't know where that comes from, but we know not from this incident. And we have been very plain. We have allowed the media, even when the security people felt threatened. If you go to the side, you just see security men all over the place with guns, and they don't like people recording them in that circumstance. We are sure that the detailed report of the inquiry being conducted by the relevant government agency like NSIB, saddled with responsibility to do so, will be released as soon as they are concluded. The ministry has also set up a committee to look into the remote causes and find a way to prevent such in the past. We look forward to the findings and recommendations which we believe will help improve our services and prevent further occurrences. We must say here that this incident is regrettable and is coming to us at a huge cost, both human and material-wise, because all of us are now on the road contacting the individuals that are on that train. Let me say here that we have personally met with many, I choose my word, many, not, I can't say most, of the people that were injured. I have personally met with close to 9 people. And just today, we met with another person in Zaria. We went to his house physically, and there is another person that we got through the contact system of our customer service in Kaduna. I also personally spoke with that person who proceeded with their journey using the road to Kaduna on that day. We appreciate the support of our technical partners, all those who joined us, the Army, some companies, the Air Force, the police, and the various federal ministries who are not generally part of the Federal Ministry of Transportation. Upon our calls to them, they responded. And we also promise that we will continue to put adequate measures in place to make sure our rail system is safe. At this point, we want to thank the presidency for giving us all the necessary support. The president also issued a statement on this matter, and beyond the president making a statement, the minister also made a statement on this matter, and various organs of government, NEMA, FRSC, also made their statements. I want to say the situation is under control, and for those who are injured, we have accepted responsibility to take care of their medical bills. This we are communicating with them one-on-one and personally, and we want to assure you our rail system is safe. Many people have raised issue about Warri Itakpe. Yes, we closed down, we suspended traffic on Warri Itakpe on August 3rd. That was after we did same some months ago because of operational and technical reasons. And this is because we noticed that the track was damaging our wheels. And we are fixing the track at the 3 points so identified. And we are in constant discussion with passengers on that corridor. They are the most actively engaged passengers because that route is the longest route, and people who use it save 50% of cost of transportation. We have also decided to go the Nigeria First policy on that track by making sure the wheels will be fixed, and they are being fixed as I'm speaking to you by the Ajaokuta Steel Rolling Mill, who are also partnering to help us put back our foundry, and very soon we'll enter into an MOU. Distinguished men of the press, Honorable Minister, sir, and the Mr. President, the situation is now under control. Now the Chief Incident Commander is in charge, the Honorable Minister. So I thank you for giving us this platform and this opportunity. And I also want to use this medium because there is a news circulating now that some journalists were not allowed. If any journalist or medium feel offended for not being around or not well treated, once again, I take responsibility and we apologize. And we are ready to provide you all access that you need. All the issues are personal issues, we will resolve it. They want to use this medium. They have demanded apology. I am apologizing. And we hope all of us will focus on national issues and think about those people who are injured and find a way to put this story behind us. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen of the press, good evening. I'm sure you have listened to the MD, Nigeria Railway Corporation, on what happened during the incidents. Immediately, we got the information. We liaise with the security agencies first and foremost to ensure that the passengers on the train are safe because the incidents happened at Jere. Thereafter, we liaise with the Ministerial of Health, the Federal Capital Territory. The passengers that have sustained various degrees of injuries are taken to the hospital. Thereafter, we arrange another train to go to the site to move the passengers from Jere back to Abuja. Having done that, I have directed the MD Nigeria Railway Corporation to commence repayment of their tickets that all the passengers have obtained in lieu of their journey. Immediately, Nigerian Safety and Investigation Bureau have commenced investigation to find out what happened at the incidents and how do we control future occurrence. Not only that, at the level of the ministry, we again set up a committee, the ministry, CCEC, team, civil society organization, an eyewitness, one representative of male passengers, one representative of female passengers. Government is determined to ensure safety of our citizens. We are determined to do justice to the investigation, not only to the investigation, to ensure we have done justice to the report. And I want to use this opportunity thank Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief for his support during and after the incident. The incident occurred while he was out of the country on official assignment, but his mind and all his spirits are with us. We have had this incident, but at least on a general note, in the last 2 years, we have achieved a milestone in our railway modernization. When this administration came on board, our project from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri was just at the outskirts of Port Harcourt. We are able to fix the segment from Port Harcourt to Aba, and we have commenced train service since last year. Our project from Kaduna to Kano, Mr. President went to China and liaised with the President of China, President Xi Jinping, to ensure that we have got the funding of the project, which we did, and inshallah the project is up to 50% completion. Our project from Kano to Maradi, at the inception of this administration, the project was just 5%. As we speak, the project is around 60%. They have started laying the track, and by the grace of God, we are going to commence the train service from Kano to Katsina with a branch line to Duze in Jigawa State. So I want to thank all of you, the media, for your support and cooperation toward national development. Thank you very much.
I believe the minister directly and indirectly touched on all the issues as asked because they are all interrelated. There are constant arrests of people who vandalize our critical national assets, and they are always taken to the court in the various states, and a lot of them are put to jail. A lot of them are made to pay fines, but the urge to steal them still remains because the people who require them keep pushing from one side to the other. Our own way out is by the time we start running more trains, the level of attacks will reduce. And we also want to appeal to the judiciary to give us all the necessary support in this prosecution. So also the communities where they are. There are communities where this thing is very, very prevalent. I won't mention so that it's not regionalized. And you have been seeing them on social media. But many of the videos circulating on the social media are old video before 2023. And they come up and people will say they've seen, but those that are current, even when it happens at 12 a.m., by 8 a.m. the next day, our engineers will have fixed those points because we know it happens. And I want to say, I went for Urban Rail Conference in South Africa, of all African countries. You won't believe it, sir. There was a whole session dedicated to rail vandalism. Even though they are on electric, they still vandalize their electric lines. So another way is when we get electric, which is part of our plans going forward. So we are concerned, and the Office of National Security Advisor recently constituted a bigger stakeholder forum where this issue is being discussed, and I know they are coming up with a national plan for rail asset protection. On timeline, the engineers are on site. The critical thing now for us is to get the capsided ones out of the way. By tomorrow, we will have done 4 out of 10, and then we will need to use crane. The crane will be moved to site. For them to move to site, they have to go on the rail. They are rail cranes. They are our cranes with rail level. When that is cleared, the next thing is simple. To lay the track is not difficult. It's to get don't forget, when we had the bomb blast, this was fixed. It was not reopened not because of the availability of the track. It was a national decision that those people who are affected be made available before the rail. So in this case, the engineers are working, and I can tell you very soon, through the ministry, we will announce plans for restoration and reopening. I want you to please bear with us.
My brother who asked of 30 billion for security and surveillance. I think it was a proposal. My background is National Assembly, and I have a copy of the 2023 Approved Appropriation Act. This sum is not included. And let me assist the MD. Someone was asking that we have been having this issue of derailment. Yeah, at the initial stage, we got to find out that the derailment was as a result of something that we call point machine. So the NRC has fixed the point machine from here up to Kaduna. And since then, we have not had any issue of derailment. And this one, because investigation is going on, I don't want to preempt the committee. So we wait for the outcome, and I want to assure you justice will be done to the investigation and to the report. And somebody was asking of what happened, we cannot link Warri to Abuja, right? Did anybody ask of that? Yeah, government is working on that. Government intend to link Warri, Ajakuta, Itape to Abuja. We are working on the procurement. Thank you. Okay, you see, movement is a function of patronage. And again, it's a function of operations. So the NRC have to look at the patronage on the segment and the operational issues that are involved. However, NRC is working on that to improve the number of trips on the corridor. Thank you.
When the moderator said that we should restrict ourselves to the matter of the derailment alone, I knew that was not going to happen because the MD himself touched on other issues, and I believe deliberately so. The Warri-Itakpe rail line, and also the incident with the NTA, for which he has apologized. And I think I want to, crave your indulgence to let the matter end on the note of the apology that he has offered. And the night is fast spent. I know you will not want me to speak so long again so that we can all go. We have been waiting here for so long. But I would like to first thank the Honorable Minister of Transportation, distinguished Senator Saidu Alkali, who had to cut short his trip in order to be here. And immediately even landed, he had to quickly change and come back here. I want to thank you for your sense of duty and patriotism. Thank you so much. And the MD has been with us since about 5 o'clock. If we had allowed the MD, he could speak from now till tomorrow. Because he's a teacher and he's used to this. He has come a long way. I haven't been the MD of LASMA, Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos, Secretary of Transportation in Abuja. So he's interacted with the media for so long. And I think you see that in the intensity of his presentation, because he went into the entire gamut of what has happened and what is Railway Corporation and the ministry have all done with respect to it. I think there have been full disclosure. And I think that we need to thank him for that. Not only has he told you what happened how the derailment happened and what has been done, what the immediate responders have done, how they have made visits, how the ministry and its corporation has visited those that were injured, the number of people that were injured, and all of that. And I want to thank him for that detailed presentation that he has given, and I hope that will give justice to that. Thank you so much, Dr. Opoifa. I also like to thank my colleagues here, Mr. Nwabuko and Ablasis, for staying with us this late in order to be part of this. Essentially, we must thank you, the media people. I've always said that if the people in government are rendering service to the country, even the media people are doing more. They are significant as the people who are in government too. Because without you, whatever we say will not get communicated to the people. And the essence of all this is to be able to enlighten the people, get the people to get information, informed information on what has happened. I want to thank you. You've been here. This is about the first time that I will witness a briefing that will end this late. But you have been very steadfast. I thank you so much. And I hope that we expect that this material will be out for Sunday. We are saying that we are pleading with you guys to be able to hold this for Sunday so that we can have maximum coverage of this event. So I thank you so much, and I wish you, all of us, journey masses home, and a very good night rest. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you, MD, my colleague, and thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.